What? Why would that? Why would you do that? It was recorded while it popped up. Excellent. Okay. Yada yada. Who's your favorite turtle? Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about turtles today. I'm gonna talk about my favorite turtle. His name's Bob. So what does Bob do? Well, before we get to what Bob does, let's talk just about turtles in general. So let's do. I haven't tested this code. I just kind of jotted it down. Hopefully it works.
Oh, you need to fix your quotation.
Yes, I do. Funnily enough, that's how I wrote it down. Don't worry too much. You can copy this. Don't worry too much about what it all means. We'll get into it. I'm just going to kind of show you what we can do here. This isn't PHP. Okay. I'm assuming this will work. Hopefully I don't get egg on my face. That's not it. And of course it closed, so I'm going to do click on exit. What is that command? Let's exit. Okay. Let's speed our turtle up a little bit. I think that's the command. What did that say? Where was it at? Line 6. Oh, because I tabbed. This is why you do the same thing every time. Maybe I didn't tab. There it is. So I used. Okay. That didn't work. No tribute on click. So let's look it up real quick. Eggs on click. There it is. Could not remember. Okay. So there we go. I just drew a spirograph thing in Turtle. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty simple. And that was with, how many lines of code was that? 11 lines of code. Now what does all this mean? Well, for a turtle, speed 0 is the fastest. So I would suggest you use that unless you want some sort of dramatic effect. So I'm essentially telling it to go forward 200 and then turn left. I think that's 170 degrees. And then if I think ABS is if it returns to the same position, then brake. You need that in there, otherwise it's just going to do it forever and you're going to kill your computer. And then exit on click. So what all can we do with this? Well, you can do a whole heck of a lot. And I actually put a link in the content that has every single command within Turtle that I want you guys to be able to use. And for this assignment, I'm just going to have you, it's a freestyle assignment. There's no wrong answers except for this. The next example I'm going to show you something you find on the internet and copy and paste, which I can search and find that, so don't do that. I want you to make something, and don't just make like a line and say, "Oh, I'm done." You know, make something creative. Have fun with it. This will get you guys kind of used to formatting, speed you up a little bit. So let's do another one. Let's do. So in this one, I'm going to use what's called a function, and we'll talk about that. I believe that's next week, but I just want to kind of expose you guys to it. So let's see if I can read my awesome notes that I put.
But because you get tab up here instead of spaces, you just go tab instead of spaces. That's
Okay, so essentially what I'm saying here is that Bob is equal to turtle. Bob is a turtle. So anytime I refer to Bob's length, forward, left, turn, color, pen size, I don't have to type in. I can add more turtles to this as well. So I'm doing this so that I can just have one set object that is a turtle, and I'm setting his parameters. So we're going to define a function. We're going to call it random drawing, and this function is going to ask for turns and distance. 4. I'm not going to use tab. I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4. For x in range turns. So a for loop, essentially, we're saying, you know, x in range, x is going to start at 0, and for however many turns I put in, it's going to go through this iteration. So we'll talk about loops more in depth later. So right equals Bob dot right random dot rand int. Cannot see what I'm typing, so I need to move this down here. And we're also using random in this, so you guys are going to get exposed to that too. Which again, don't fret. It's not as complicated as it seems, and we will talk about more of that later. Anyone have any idea of why I'm using 360 as the second number of that?
For the circle?
Yeah, for the direction,
Yeah.
degrees, yeah. There you go. Very good. Okay, Bob.color. I might have to import random. I don't know if it's just included. One, two, 1, 2. Okay. There we go. Then we're going to call random. Okay. So essentially what I'm doing here, I'm defining a function. And within this function, it's going to tell Bob to go right a random number, left a random number. It's going to choose a random color, and then it's going to choose randomly between right and left through every iteration of this. And then he's going to go forward whatever distance we give him, which in this case, I'm giving it 50. Because this function calls for two numbers, turns and distance, so turn is 100, distance is 50, right? Makes sense? Inconsistent use of tabs and spaces, line 9.
Yeah, mine is doing the same thing where you hit enter and it's tab. I'm putting a tab instead of a space bar.
So should we just use the tab?
Just use one or the other. That may be because... What was it saying to that? It was line 9. That's not right. Oh, because I used 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Use one or the other. Don't be like me. Don't forget to put exit on click. Random is not defined.
So we need to import random now.
Maybe. There we go. Yeah, you had to import random. And he's kind of gone off the rails here. So that's what it should look like. You got to import random if you're going to use random. I wasn't sure if it was included or not, but it clearly it was not. So when we actually run this, let's take a look at what, take eyes on the board and watch what it does. Stop typing for a second. Of course, keep going off the damn rails. Why does that keep going away? Keeps kind of going off the rails, so let's make his distance a little bit smaller. Let's do 10. There we go. So if you notice, each time it's different because it's doing it randomly every time. And that's kind of the power of random. You can change other little bits of it. We can do Bob.pen size. Let's try 2, see what that looks like. There we go. A little bit thicker lines. Let's go crazy. Let's just go nuts. Let's do 15. I realize that's not that crazy, but there we go. It's a big old glob of mess, right? There is so many things you can do with Turtle. You can actually write words using some sort of script, and it'll like script them out for you. You can change, if you notice it's like a little arrow, you can change it to actually be a little turtle if you wanted to. So the world is your oyster.
I have a question.
What's up?
When you're referring to distance, is that like pixels, points, or inches?
I think it's pixels. So if we were to do like 100, it's probably really going to go off the rails. Yeah. And he's off over here somewhere just doing whatever. So you can actually make it so that it stays within a certain realm. or a certain area. I'll let you guys figure that out. But yeah, pretty cool. So, and I'm gonna leave that here. You guys get that copied down?
For the assignment, do we have to use random?
No. You don't have to do anything other than prove to me that you put some effort into it. You don't have to use random. You can use random. You know, maybe you can make this number random. Distance is a random. Is a random size. So you know each line will be a little bit different in length, and you can put the random variables pretty much anywhere. You can do 0 through whatever the limit might be, like 10, 15, 17,000, something like that. So obviously 17,000 distance would be, it wouldn't stay on the board for very long. But you can make a snake game in Turtle, where you can it'll actually take inputs from your keyboard to make a little snake. I tried to do that at work, but I don't have a Python interpreter, so. And you can't do this online. So if any of you have not installed Python on your computer, it's pretty imperative that you do that now. Otherwise, you will not be able to do this assignment. So then I was going to type this one out, but I think I'm just going to copy and paste it. I took this from Script or Stack Overflow. I want to show you guys some of the cool stuff you can do. This week's going to be a lot lighter than the rest of the weeks. I know some people are trying to catch up and kind of having what am I trying to do? Notepad. Some people are having kind of a hard time, so just wanted this to be a nice, easy assignment for you guys, something fun. There you go. So it'd be a lot cooler if it probably drew it slower. Let's do. Oh, there's something in there that just makes it do it.
Be the screen tracer?
That's probably what it is. I'm not real sure what that is. Let's comment it out. What that is. There it goes. So if you look at it, as you watched it, as it goes through a distance and makes a turn, it changes colors. So through this, colors. So yeah, it just kind of chooses one of those colors dependent on, because that's modulus. Where's X? Where's X defined? Or X in range. So at each time it goes through an iteration of X, it goes through one of the colors. So 1 mod 6 would be 1, 2 mod 6 would be 2, and so on and so forth. If you guys know anything about modulus, which we'll talk about later. But so this is just, like I said, brief little intro. I think Thursday we'll talk more about functions. So you guys who want to include functions, I'll kind of clear that up for you. And we'll talk about random a little bit more. But yeah, should be an easy week for you guys, I hope. Don't get too crazy with it. Don't crush yourself below your own, I'd say intelligence, but you could also crush yourself amongst your own stupidity. But you guys aren't stupid. You guys are a bright crowd, so I have no doubt I'm going to see some amazing stuff. So let's just talk about some of the basic functions in Turtle. This isn't important for you guys to keep. I don't really want you guys to have this because you guys might just change 2 things and call it yours. So let's see. Let's just copy this over. So in your class, I gave you there it goes. Week 4. Let's see, did I put it in Turtle stuff? Turtle website. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. And that's where I got that first one from. So you guys would see it and recognize it. So here are your motion, your Turtle methods that are built into Python. These are all your different motions. You can do forward, backwards, right, left, which is an angle. Go to, set position. So if you want it to like draw something over here, then move positions, you can use the set position and change it to where somewhere else. Set X, set Y, kind of where it's at. Set heading. So if you want to set the heading to 0, it'll go straight up. Home, back to 0, 0. Circle, you can make a circle dot, stamp, clear stamps, clear stamps. You can undo and then you can change the speed. Tell Turtle state. Pen size, pen up, pen down. So pen up is if you want it to move but not actually draw anything. And then you can use stuff like is down to whenever it's up, it changes color. Whenever it's down, it changes a different color. Filling, whenever it draws like a circle, it'll fill it, begin fill, end fill. And if you click on these, it actually tells you a little more about it. So as you're looking through all of them, if you want to know more about that particular method, you can learn more about it, like the color one. So then arguments is whatever argument you put in there, whatever color. I'm not sure all the different colors it has, but I'm sure you could find that with a quick Google search if you so wished to. So show turtle, you can make the little arrow invisible or the turtle, whatever you want to change it to. And then on click, on release, on drag. You can actually draw with it. You can turn it on so that on click, wherever you click down and move the mouse, the turtle will follow your pen and draw, or follow your pointer and draw for you. And you can also do stuff with your keyboard input stuff, which I don't think it talks about here. Yeah, input, num input, text input, WASD, up, down, left, right kind of stuff. So you have this is your canvas, or this is your paint bucket, and then Python is your canvas for all you artsy fartsy people. You guys have any questions? It's pretty straightforward. Nothing?
Let's see the commands again on the other one.
Like this one?
Yeah, terms.
Remember, a lot of these are variables being defined. Like right is a variable because it's not being called from turtle. So the right that's just by itself is a variable, whereas turtle.write is an actual command. So don't get confused by that. Let's throw somebody else in there. Let's have a little fun. It's another good turtle name. Call it Ted. Ted.speed. I'll make Ted a little slower. He's just a little bit slower guy than Bob. I don't think you have to redefine the background color, but just in case. I don't want to skip anything. Ted.pen size. Let's make Ted just a little. He's a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger. Let's make him 8. Okay. Oh Lord. What happened here? So 10, Bob.distance. Okay. So we need to do I think this will work. I think it's easy distance, but blah, 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 19. There we go. It's a lot less anticlimactic than I wanted.
You did random.
Whoa. Oh, Ted is just kind of spinning around in circles. Probably because the distance is so small too. Let's make their distance just a little bit more. 25. Let's just make them both 0. Make this go a little quicker. There we go. That's what I was looking for. That's pretty cool. So all I did there was just add another instance of turtle named Ted. I defined what Ted is, and then I put in some commands for Ted. And they don't have to follow the same commands. You can put totally different commands. You can do something like the big spirograph that we made and have Ted do that while Bob is just bouncing around like an idiot. Or you can have them, you can give Bob a different distance. You could put in, comma, distance Ted, and then, assign that to Ted. So essentially you can make 2 spirographs within each other happening at the same time. You can make them go in different directions. So a lot of different stuff you can do. Be creative. Have fun. Any other questions? And don't let this whole screen, that's a lot of text. Don't let it boggle your mind. Because if you take each line one at a time by itself, it should be pretty simple. And that's kind of how you should code. Each line should be its own separate entity in your brain. Granted, they have to work together, but whenever you're writing code like this, or if I'm writing a PHP script, I think about my end objective, and then I make each line its own special case of, okay, in order to reach this objective, I need to do this. So this line has to do this, which will go into the next line. So try to keep it clear in your head what you're doing. Set a goal, then make steps to reach that goal, right? You don't just pay off all your credit card debt in one day. You think, okay, what do I need to do? I need to cut back on my food. I eat too much food. I need to bring my dinner from home and all that good stuff. So that saves me $20 a week, so I can add another $20 to my credit card bill. Stuff like that. You have a goal and steps. I think a lot of people are kind of just looking at stuff like this and going, there's no way I can do that. But you can. I believe in you. I honestly do. I did it. I didn't laugh. Not you believe me, guys. You guys can do it. I'm I'm hoping this will build up you guys some confidence, because I feel like a lot of you guys are getting kind of disheartened by Python and programming in general. So don't get disheartened. It's not as scary as you think it is. After this class, you'll be a Pythonista or something. I don't know. What's the term kids use today? I don't know. Yeet. I don't know. Whatever. What's up?
When you're writing this code and you put like right, left, up, down, is that how it draws first? Or?
There's a pen up and pen down actually lift the pen up and pen down. There's really only right and left because it's on a 2D plane. So there's forward, which is, I guess you could say, up. And then backwards would be down. And then right. Think of it like you have I have this pen in my hand. I put it down. I can go, say I'm pointing this way. I can go forward, and then I have to make a turn. Or I can go just straight backwards. But, I can turn left, and then go forward, and then turn left, and go forward, and then turn right, and go forward. Think of it more like that. Right and left are angles, however much your pen turns. So, like 30 degrees, 45, or 90. No, that's 90. So think of like right 90, it turns to the right 90.
So basically,
And then goes forward if you tell it to.
So basically, on line 14, if you actually wanted to define a specific angle, instead of putting the random, just bob.right open parentheses,
Yeah, you can
number
essentially,
of degrees you want it to turn to the right.
yeah, you can just kill pretty much all that right there, and that right there, and that would make it just turn a full 360, which would leave you in the same direction. But
Okay, so then it would be right space equals space bob open parentheses however many degrees
so
you want to turn close
let's
parentheses.
do 60. So now, Bob, I need to leave that right. Bob.right. So now every time that random chance makes Bob go right, he's only going to go right 60 degrees. So it should look a little more structured. Bob's the little one.
Okay, makes sense.
So anytime he turns right, he only goes right 60 degrees. But that's how you affect his actual angle directly. Clear as mud. Who here feels good about this? Like I said, there's on this as long as your turtle runs, it looks like you put more than 5 minutes into it, you're gonna get 100 on this, okay?
When's this one due?
The 17th, which is next Monday. Yeah, Monday at 11:30. If you have questions, use those websites that I gave you first and see if you can't figure it out. Like I said, each one of those little functions has its own description, and if the description the website gives isn't good enough, you can just put turtle forward Python, and then there'll be a plethora of websites to help you out with that. So, and go out there and look at other people's code. If you see something you like, borrow it, make it your own. Just don't copy and paste like I did for that big spire graph. Don't do that. I would never submit that as my own. Granted, chances are what you do is going to have been done before, but I can tell. So, have fun. Any other questions last minute? Okay. Well, that's it.